Very excited to talk to our next guest. He's the co-host of the Man to Man podcast. Been doing some really great media work, and we're excited for him to join us. Darius Butler joins us here on the program. Thanks for giving us some time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, well, you've made some waves, which is funny, man. You've made some waves recently in Dolphins Twitter because of your Xavien Howard interview that I actually remember watching on YouTube back in January. Where you had him on before even Depoy was given out, and you guys were giving him a lot of love and type of stuff. But obviously, Xavien has been in the news recently with his recent holdout from minicamp. He had an incredible season last year, and now wants to get paid after just getting a new contract about a year ago. And I remember your interview came to me almost immediately after it happened, because I remember you guys asked him about the idea of signing Byron Jones and drafted Noah Igbinoghene, and he called it a slap in the face. So I was like, huh, that doesn't seem like he was too pleased. So I guess, what have you made of this, man? Because you guys had the great interview with him, but as a guy, a DB yourself, and seeing where he's at in this idea that he has a teammate who makes a ton of money, a team that drafted a guy at his position in the first round, and then he goes and has this incredible year. What have you made, I guess, of the whole situation with Xavien holding out? And how do you think this thing's going to play out?
Yeah, so in the interview, like he said, he completely understood the signing of Byron Jones, the draft of Noah. But at the same time, he said he felt like it was a slap in the face, and he took pride in himself, and he stepped his game up, kind of what you saw in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers when they drafted Jordan Love in the first round. Players, as you get up in the league, your years kind of start stacking on. You start watching that draft and watching free agency a lot differently, and so you understand the business side of it. And now, I guess from his standpoint, he's like, okay, now the Dolphins, they have to also understand the business and the player side of it as well. If I just came off a defensive player of the year type year at the cornerback position, he said out of his own mouth, he felt like he had a better year than Gilmore had when he won the award. So it's pretty tough to be in that locker room knowing you're on borrowed time as a player, to look across the field and know the guy on the other side of the field is making more money than you. It really comes down to that. It's a simple process, just like any job. If you're the best at your job and somebody else in that building is doing the same job as you and they're getting paid more money, I don't care when I signed that deal. We can restructure some things. You can give me some more money up front, maybe a bonus, do something, be creative, and make your best players happy. And I think that the ball's kind of in the Dolphins' court right now. I know he signed a new deal, I think 2 years ago. But we seen they just cut Van Noy after signing him after 1 year. So business is always changing. So we get it as players. They get in the front office, so they got to meet somewhere in the middle and make them happy.
Darius, and that's exactly the point I brought up. I said everybody is so quick to look at the player and say, "You just signed a contract." Y'all don't say that when the team cut the player.
Yep.
Y'all say, "Oh man, we need to be loyal to that player. We signed him for a long-term deal." And I said, the other thing is if the owners can wash their hands of a contract and be done with it and move on, then why can't a player? Yeah. And the only way a player can do it is hold out and get more money. Now, the cool thing about it is, in all these cases, you've been around this long enough, most people would come out and say, absolutely not. And there'd be some kind of standstill. The Dolphins didn't do that. Mm-hmm. The Dolphins came out and said, we understand it's a contract thing, and we're going to work with him, and we're going to have some conversations, which means that, look, all they got to do is say, you know what? We're going to accelerate some of this money to guaranteed money. We're going to give you a check for $20 million. And then we good, right? We good.
Yep.
And that's it. Because that, look, money in pocket for a football player, I don't care what the average end up being. Money in pocket is money in pocket. So I think I like the way this is going, even though he didn't go to minicamp. I like the fact that the way the Dolphins responded, right, shows that they kind of understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, they got to understand both sides. I think both sides do it. Xavien obviously understood why they went out and paid Byron. They needed some insurance on him. Why they went out and drafted Noah out of Auburn. I mean, that's what they went and signed Jason McCourty as well. So that's the part. And in this league, you need, 3, 4, 5 good corners to go out there and compete, especially in the type of system that they play. Because in the Dolphins system, they put a lot of stress on those corners, to be good. Sometimes the ball's coming out quick based on design, but you need good corners out there that can hold their own in space. And Xavien he's at the top of that list in the league with a lot of talented corners. So when you go and you see these guys, you still want to be up in that highest paid type conversation. And he went out there and earned it. He was healthy. He played through some injuries this year, and that's been one of the knocks on his career early on. Couldn't stay healthy, and now being healthy and getting older at the same time, you want to get as much of that money in your pocket as humanly possible. So I think they figured something out before the season. I talked to Xavien a couple of days ago. He's in good spirits. He's working, and I'm sure the Dolphins are. They got the money. I just saw Ross sliding down the slide inside the facility, so they can be creative and figure something out.
That thing looked insane. I don't know how many times you think someone's going to use that slide, because it's it was a really cool thing to put on Instagram. I was like, man, I wonder if people are actually going to use that to go from top to bottom, because it feels like you would do it once and then no one's ever going to do the slide again.
Nope.
Yeah, that's one of the things you buy. Your kids, they've been begging you for toys for Christmas or birthday, something. They play it one time and it's collecting dust in the garage. That looks like one of those things.
You know how lazy football players are. They gotta go. If they gotta walk around and go down the stairs, and they see that slide, you're gonna use the slide.
If you gotta go up to come down, it won't be used much. Now maybe you get something that starting takes you up. That may be different.
Well, no, it's like when you come in. Like, say if the meetings are on the second floor and you gotta go down to the weight room or the facility, instead of walking all the way around, you got a nice little shot right there.
Yeah, you got a point.
Mm-hmm.
You got a point. Got to watch that tailbone though. Ross, you look like you took a.
I can do late. You know when you get the dog days of summer.
Oh yeah.
You're thinking, look, I can get 5 more minutes. I don't need to eat lunch. Like you start thinking about preserving.
You start calculating everything.
Yeah.
Des, do you think the season that Xavien had last year was so incredible with all the turnovers? Like what do you think makes him so good at that? Because I would feel like during a year like that, where they realize everybody knows on film, like, hey, this guy's really good at taking away the football. Maybe we should avoid him at all costs. Like, do you think that's something that he can carry over? Like, that he's always going to have those incredible ball skills? Or do you think that if you're the Dolphins, you're thinking, like, it can't get better than that? Because, 10 takeaways like that is an insane year. It's almost historic.
Yeah. I mean, you don't expect 20 passes and 10 picks. I think it was a point where he got like a pick in 5, 6, 7 straight weeks or something crazy like that. You don't expect that week, year in and year out. But you don't lose those ball skills because the thing about playing corner, one of the toughest things to do at a cornerback position is know when to get your head around and be able to play the ball, and know when you kind of have to play the man and play their hands. And what Xavien has is I guess an innate sense of like confidence and timing, where he knows, okay, I'm in position. And we talked about that in the interview as well. And now I can play the ball. And like I said, you don't see those ball skills going away. He played receiver as a young guy, plays basketball. And typically those guys who have those type of backgrounds, quarterback, receiver, basketball type backgrounds, they're better in the ball skills category. You've seen that with Xavien. And it's not just his, because you have some guys who can just go out there and create turnovers. And then you have guys who can be sticky in man-to-man coverage and guard the other team's best receiver. And it's rare that you get a combination of both. And he can play press, he can play off, he can get ball production. So that those type of guys in this type of league, you got to keep those guys happy. You got to keep them on the field and on your team. And I don't think he's going anywhere. Like I said, I don't see a holdout even going into training camp. I think they handle this, if they're smart, pretty quickly.
Darius, I tell people that's one of the hardest things to get accustomed to as a receiver, as a pass catcher, or as a DB, right? How many times during a practice you hear, get your head around?
Yep. You
see receivers getting hit in the face, right? And DBs, the guy catching the ball and running away, and you think you right on him.
Yep.
It's a hard thing to adjust to because of this reason. The ball's being thrown before anybody's anywhere close to where they're supposed to catch the ball. And so as a receiver, you got to know how far can I run before I look? But then you got to know that DB is not going to look until you look.
Yep.
So you can't look too early. Y'all both will be standing like Mardi Gras beads trying to catch the ball. And that's one of the cool things. Who was really good at this was Randy Moss. Randy Moss would run, and he just be running. He just put his hands out, and everybody like, why didn't he defend it? Because he didn't turn his head around.
Yeah. Randy was the best at that.
Yeah, dude, it was unbelievable. And then it's funny because, when you watch football on television and the dumb analysts talk about, he got to turn his hand around. I'm like, no, he don't.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so Randy was it was actually a couple months ago, somebody put up a highlight tape of him. And I knew it firsthand. I played with Randy my first 2 years up in New England and been against him in practice because obviously he's fast, he's athletic, but when you see them, if you put on a Randy Moss highlight tape and you see the amount of deep balls that he caught, like waist high, because he didn't put his hands up. And and you would think like Randy Moss, 6'4", freak athlete, you would think he would be high point and everything, but guys would be such in a panic trying to catch up with him, and he never gave you his eyes. Young receivers, when they're looking for the ball, their eyes are big as golf balls. Randy was just calm, and then last second, he'd be like, boop, and it just dropped in his hands, so you couldn't even play his hands either. So he was literally a master at that little thing that on the field is a huge thing. Like I said, when you have a corner, even like a Richard Sherman. Now, Richard Sherman, over his career, he's played a lot of zone, so he would have eyes on the quarterback. So that's why he would be able to create a lot of those turnovers. Marcus Peters, he's a guy that gambles, so he'll play off and he'll kind of have his eyes on the quarterback, kind of how Terrell Buckley used to be back in the day. Right. But Xavien is literally like I'm gonna press, I'm gonna get in your face, and then once this route is declared, I know, okay, this is around the time the ball should be coming. I'm gonna get my head around, and that's the hardest, I would say, combination to have at that cornerback position, especially with these quarterbacks, because you got to worry about the back shoulders. You got to worry about, okay, if it's over the top, like what type of receiver am I playing against? So to see him do what he did last year against the different type of quarterbacks, different, Tyreek Hill, the different type of body type receivers, was special.
Before we get you out of here, Darius, you are a great follow on Twitter, but not only for your football stuff, but I love your NBA stuff, and you're a Heat fan. Okay, so what? Oh yeah. Listen, man, what do you think Ryle's going to do this year? You hear the Godfather after the season. He sounds like Riley. He likes to go big game hunting. He likes to go whaling. Yeah. Especially after a first round sweep. You think Riley's pulling something big off this offseason?
Man, he said, after a season, he said he knows. I know what I got to do, and now I got to go out here and get it done. And I got faith in the Godfather, man. Hopefully he pulls one more trick out of his hat. I would love for Damian Lillard to get down here. I don't know how realistic that is.
Hey, okay. All right.
But I would love to see Dame time down here in Miami.
Darius, okay. Look, this is all fine and great, and everybody's down with you. What you giving up?
Any and everybody except Jimmy and Bam.
Yes.
As long as
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Nobody wants your scraps. You gotta give up something.
Yeah.
Duncan.
Yep.
Who else we got?
Precious.
Anybody they want, man.
Hey, you can't.
Victor.
Bam makes Team USA. Damian Lillard likes to post on Instagram. That's a bat signal. That's a bat signgle. You say Bam.
You gotta watch everything these days.
Hey, don't look at me. Don't give that look.
Nope. Dame's telling. He's like, hey.
Come man.
Get me, because they're gonna be out.
Everything. We got to do something though. We got to figure something out. That first run, that left a bad taste in my mouth. Even though the Bucks, they may go on and make the finals. Good team. They shot, out of their mind that series. But I don't feel like we weren't ready for that. We didn't look like we were ready to play at all that playoff series. Thoroughly disappointed in that effort by the Heat. But hopefully we bounce back next year.
Well, check out Darius Butler. Check out the Man to Man podcast. Really good work.
Next time you come on, I want to answer for that. Okay,
we'll figure it out. It'll probably be done by then.
Yeah,
you're making it easy. You wanted to get rid of all the guys that I'm gonna do this here. You can take this and this.
Got to keep Bam and Jimmy. We need a big three.
That's it.
All right,
figure out the rest.
Okay.
And just Darius, ways people can catch your show.
Just follow me on Darius J. Butler on Instagram, on Twitter, and Everything DB Show. on Instagram, Twitter as well, YouTube, and the Man to Man pod that I co-host with Antoine Bethea. We go live Mondays and Thursdays on
DBs
YouTube.
stick together,
from
huh?
11 to 12. Oh yeah, you know it.
Yeah, we can't get a wide out for some, you know.
We've had some fun digs. So we had a couple wide outs in there.
All right.
Well, you guys are doing good work. Really enjoy the show, and thanks for giving us some time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.